CTV family, catch us live on your TV screens.
It's me, Lauren Joffe, yet again, obviously on the one and only Ekse, and as usual, I know it was too high risk for you to move from your couch, so I'm just assuming you didn't move from your couch, that you stay put, you didn't touch the remote at all. We have the lovely Percy in studio with us today. How are you feeling? Nervous? Excited?
Thank you so much, Lauren. You know, it's a privilege being here. I'm from Cape Town, born and bred here in Cape Town, and finally I make it into your studios. Thank you for having me today. I'm doing actually very fine under the circumstances.
Good. Under the circumstances of, just how 2020 and 2021 has been as well.
Exactly. It's been a difficult year for all of us. We've been locked in for the biggest part of this year, and finally we're starting to come out and show our true colors, and I'm hoping to show you my true colors here today.
I can already see all of the lovely energy coming from you. So you come from a broadcasting background, specifically in sports. I'm going to pretend I know lots about sports, and we're going to have a conversation about that. But before we go into your career, tell me a little bit about you. How did you end up there?
So I'm Percivale Young. I'm born and bred here in Cape Town. I spent the first part of my life in Mitchell's Plain, moved over to East River, and that's where I grew up most of my life. My father actually wanted me to become an electrical engineer. Can you imagine that?
You were like, no.
Along the way, I decided to go into the journalism career. To make a long story very short, I ended up at a newspaper where they gave me the opportunity to become a sports journalist. And guess what? I get paid to watch sport every single day.
It sounds like some people's dream. It really does. I feel like half the time I'm really, I've got ears. But do I know the technicalities of what's going on? I don't. I have to pretend.
You don't always have to know the technicalities. You just have to enjoy what you're doing. And that's what I'm doing on a daily basis. And I can say I'm proud to do what I'm doing. I've been doing it for the past, almost 15 to 20 years now already. I'm giving my age away here at the moment. But I'm proud to say I love what I do. You get to tell stories. You get to tell inspirational stories. But let me not give too much away, though, Lauren.
For sure. So we'll jump to the next question. So obviously, you said Dad wanted you to go one way, and you said, I'm going to go another way, but you're still able to pay the bills and live this, awesome life where you said you get to be paid to watch sport. And most people have to take off from work to make sure that they get to one of the games on time. So in terms of being a sports broadcaster and being a sports anchor, what has that been like? What is your day-to-day like?
So on a daily basis, I get the opportunity to compile stories where I'm out in the field or in the office at the desk, behind the desk, compiling these stories. And at the end of the day, when the bulletin starts at night, we have to present that story, all the lovely stories we compiled during the day, we have to present those stories to the nation. Obviously, I work in two languages. I work in Afrikaans and English. So it's a dual platform at the moment. So we get to tell all these different stories, whether it's Kaizer Chiefs playing against Orlando Pirates, whether it's Cape Town City FC playing against their former coach, Benny McCarthy. We get the emotions out of people. We get to tell nice stories. We could tell stories that makes people upset, irritated. They want to throw a couch to the TV when you present stories. That's the whole idea of sports, is presenting people with a lots of emotions, telling nice stories. And that's the nice thing of being a sports broadcaster, telling the nicer side of a day. After getting all those difficult stories, the hardcore news stories, then Percivale Young comes up and he tells you about the lovely side about South Africa, the sports side of South Africa.
Gets to give some dessert,
Exactly.
Some dessert out of a three-course meal.
But it's not always very nice dessert because when I have to tell the viewers here in Cape Town that Cape Town City FC lost against, like I made an example, lost against Benny McCarthy's AmaZulu, I'm not going to get the desired results, a reaction from Cape Town supporters here, because obviously they're going to be upset. Their team lost. But that's the nice thing about sport. You get to tell nice stories and you get nice emotions out of people.
It sounds like also what you're saying is, besides people who actually understand sport, the average citizen like myself, you get to tell stories where we also understand what's going on. We get to feel that emotion from the game or from the players. So unfortunately, we don't have too much time left. I want to quickly summarize what has been the highlight of your career so far.
I've got so many highlights. I think one of my biggest highlights was in 2015 when I got the opportunity to go and cover the Rugby World Cup in England.
Wow.
I think that was the opportunity of a lifetime. Being there at that big stage where the Springboks advanced all the way until the semi-final and they eventually dropped out there. But besides the Springboks not making it to a final, just that opportunity to be part of a South African contingent going there and covering that world stage. But more so, I think some of these local stories we get to cover, like I told you, the beautiful stories, the Siya Khaleesi's who's here based in Cape Town. Sadly, he's leaving our province now to go to Durban. But that's a story for another day. Telling local stories is, for me, the best thing. And like I said, I can go on and on about this, bringing those emotions out of people. That is the best thing about being a sport broadcaster.
I think it's so beautiful, you know, hearing you repeat that it really is about emotions. So whether you understand sport or not, it's about what does that game make you feel?
Yes,
and you
yes.
have the ability and the talent to do that. So for all of our viewers at home, I hope that you heard that highlight. You know, I can't believe that highlight of going to the World Cup in England in 2015. So if there's any viewers at home that, you know, are thinking like, hey, I also want a highlight of my career like that, where can anybody get hold of you? Is there an email address? Maybe somebody wants to email you for advice or to hear more about your story.
So Percivale Young can be contacted at percivale.young@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at Percy Young, at Percy Young. It's one Percyoung. I'm also on Instagram. You can just type in my name, Percivale with an E at the end, Young. And I'm obviously on Facebook as well, under Percivale Young as well.
That's awesome.
I'm very keen on communicating with people.
So I love that you're keen on it, because I just threw you in the deep end there and I was like, give us all your details. So for any viewers at home, you've heard it straight from Percivale's mouth. He's eager to just find out more from you guys as well. So stay tuned. And of course, I hope that you were able to learn loads of things about sports news.
CTV.